If y'all have been watching Hard Knocks for the Giants, as you know, one of the biggest storylines is Saquon Barkley not signing back with the Giants. The Giants are extending offers to him. We already know he's not on the team. He's now a Philadelphia Eagle. But what better timing than to talk about the running back position for the New York Giants and how we're completely switching what we've been linked to for these past 6 years with Saquon Barkley being the workhorse running back. Now we're switching to a running back by committee approach. And I'm on board. You see a lot of the top teams in this league approaching that as well. So let's talk about who we got in the backfield right now. And the number one guy currently is going to be Devon Singletary. Devon Singletary was drafted by the Bills, and Joe Shane and Brian Daboll were all working with him when he was in Buffalo. But last year, he took on a different role. He got shipped out to Texas. He was playing in the Texans, and he actually didn't have the starting role to begin with. As you know, Dameon Pierce, second-year running back. Last year, he took over the league as a rookie. And Devon Singletary took this man's snaps. Devon Singletary took his opportunity and ran with it. He posted a career high in rushing yards, 898 yards, only 4 touchdowns. But once again, man, early on in that season, last season, he didn't have the premier role that Dameon Pierce had. And slowly but surely throughout the year went on, he was picking up steam and he was racking up them yards and racking up them carries overall. Devon Singletary was playing behind a better offensive line in Houston than he is coming to New York. But you definitely like what you see out of Devon Singletary, a patient runner. He doesn't have the breakaway speed that you'll see where he'll take off for 80 yards. But he has good vision, good contact balance, and once again, you see him mainly go vertical. He's not going to run you over, but he's going to run straight forward. You're not going to see him trying to break crazy plays and cut across the field. As we know, Saquon Barkley had that kind of ability, and we've seen him do that sometimes, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Devon Singletary, definitely some guy that you're going to get used to in terms of running the ball straight up and trying to get the yards and get a first down. Devon Singletary is a tough runner, and something I like to see out of Devon Singletary as well is that he does not miss games, and hopefully he doesn't come to New York and pick up on that trend, because as we know, as a Giants fan, we see it happen all the time. Devon Singletary has yet to miss a game or an extension of games due to injury, so you love to see that. Tough, smart, dependable. That's what Brian Daboll and Joe Shane has been preaching since they got here. And as you know, working with Devon Singletary previously, that's what they were looking for. They knew he was that guy when they drafted him, so of course they're going to want to bring him back. Also, he didn't break the bank either, but once again, he also serves a solid role in the receiving game as well. He's not just a guy that's not going to be able to catch the ball. You'll probably see him a lot on third down as well, depending on what packages we're looking at. But Devon Singletary should be, a good advantage to our team. Now, when you put up his stats and you compare him to Saquon, what he's been doing behind this offensive line, obviously Devon Singletary has performed just as well. Just as well. Saquon Barkley, as we know, is a dynamic player, and is Devon Singletary as dynamic as Saquon? No, but he's dependable, and he's going to get those yards for you. I'm excited to see what his role is going to be and how long of a role he's going to have in terms of with these other running backs that are on this team. Devon Singletary, once again, man, he's just consistent. And listen, I got a couple 26 jerseys in my closet right here. I might have to slap Singletary on there if he starts to play well for the Giants, man. So let's see what happens after seeing Devon Singletary. But another running back I wanted to touch on and who we drafted this past year, and I'm very excited to speak on, is Tyrone Tracy. Now, Tyrone Tracy's story coming out of college and coming into the NFL. Last year was his first year as a running back, and he gets selected by the New York Giants as a running back in the 5th round this past year. Now, a lot of people are going to look at that and say, hey, maybe he's not even going to make the team. I think this guy's going to make this team, and I think he's going to make a difference. Tyrone Tracy, he probably will have his own video, but he was a former wide receiver in college. He played wide receiver at Iowa, racked him some yards there, but once he transferred over to Purdue, I think they liked his ability a lot more and wanted the ball in his hands more consistently and put him at running back, rushing for over 700 yards and 8 touchdowns last year. And once again, man, the best thing you see out of Tyrone Tracy, we touched on a little bit with Devon Singletary, but Tyrone Tracy's contact balance, it reminds me of Alvin Kamara. And I don't want to go to those lengths to say he's going to be Alvin Kamara, but in terms of bouncing off tacklers and really staying on his feet and also not letting one guy bring him down, Tyrone Tracy, I can see why they moved him to running back, because once he had the ball in his hands after he received it, he was able to make some moves with it and also stay on his feet and run towards the end zone. He ran a 4.48 40, so he got some speed to him, but once again, he doesn't really look like a guy that's going to take it off for 80 yards. But once again, he's going to break tackles. He's going to be a north-south runner. And he's also going to be able to, once again, add a different element to this offense. Now, with him being a former wide receiver, as you know, he got hands. He can catch the ball. He's probably going to be more receiving back for us. That's what I think personally, but that's also a prediction that, we'll see what happens. But you want to have a guy that's versatile like that in your backfield. Maybe you'll see a couple sets where you have Tyrone Tracy and Devon Singletary in your backfield. But once again, Tyrone Tracy is a former wide receiver. You just got to get him the ball. Get him the ball in his hands. A lot of people predicted he was going to get picked higher than the 5th round for the Giants. So when you look at value, the value was definitely there. But once again, Tyrone Tracy's potential, I feel like, is untapped right now. And I'm not going to do this to hype him up completely, but the truth is that nobody really looked at him because he had 1 year running back. He averaged 6.5 yards per carry, at Purdue. And once again, Purdue is not the biggest school in the world, and some of their competition is obviously up there. So Tyrone Tracy, I'm excited to see what he can do in this Giants uniform, and once again, what his role will be. They already seen it in a couple of the OTAs. They had him out on 3rd downs and also receiving some plays back there. So I want to see how they're going to use him. As you know, training camp's coming up shortly. We're going to see how he does, and we're going to see if he ends up being the RB2, because I feel like the RB2 is wide open. And once again, we are probably switching to a committee approach. You're going to see a couple of different running backs, but someone's got to be the guy that spells Devon Singletary, and it might be Tyrone Tracy. Another running back I wanted to touch on, and I was excited for last year. Kind of underwhelming, but he also didn't get the carries like that, and that is Eric Gray. Eric Gray, 2nd year, coming in on the New York Giants. He was drafted last year, and I expected him to have more of a bigger role. As you know, he wasn't the 2nd string running back. He kind of only stepped in when Saquon was out as the 2nd running back. He only had 17 carries last year. So you want to see more carries out of Eric Gray. And I'm trying to see, once again, I think RB2 is wide open. Eric Gray was an exciting prospect coming out of Oklahoma, and I thought he was going to serve well for us. The potential is still there. Now we just need to see if he can actually beat out these guys when it comes to training camp and see if he can make the team. Now, his shiftiness is something that I feel like a couple of the other running backs might not have as much. Eric Gray is a little shifty runner, but he also can run you over. We seen that last year in a couple of games that he played. He did fumble last year, though. You don't love to see that, and that could possibly be a reason why this man didn't see that many touches like that. But Eric Gray overall, once again, I was excited for him last year. We didn't really see too much of it after Saquon Barkley leaving. You got to imagine he's going to have more of a role on this team, but he's going to have to beat these guys out in camp, and his work is going to be cut out for him. Because I'll tell you right now, I think this next running back is probably a guy that I'm hoping he makes the team and hoping he gets a shot, because I truly think we don't know what we're going to get out of him. And his name is Dante Miller. As you know, a lot of you guys probably subscribed from that video, but if you're not, make sure you check out my Dante Miller video. Nicknamed Turbo. He was signed by the Giants before the NFL draft, and he actually didn't even get to be draft eligible because this whole college situation where the COVID year added to his year, but he thought he had an extra year and he didn't. Long story short, man, it was a tough journey to get where he's at, but he did get signed to the Giants. And if he was to perform in the combine, he would have had the fastest 40 time out of all the running backs that are here. Dante Miller doesn't earn the nickname Turbo out of nowhere. As you know, he is quick. It's all about putting it all together and really seeing it on the field. You could say that his game speed doesn't really match his 40 time speed, but we'll see what he does, because once again, last year was an outlier year for him. They thought he was going to have an extra year, and then they thought he wasn't. It was a crazy scenario. Once again, man, check out the Dante Miller video if you haven't already. It's going to be down in the description. But once again, maybe you can see him crack this team by special teams, and hopefully he gets a chance to even show his ability overall. Dante Miller has the physical traits. He has the speed. He just needs to put it all together, and hopefully he's able to show that for the Giants in this upcoming training camp. Once again, I think all 4 of these running backs probably make the team. One of them is probably going to be a special teams guy. But if we switch to this committee approach, and who knows, man, you never know how it's going to be week in and week out. You can see a couple of these guys definitely making an impact. And once again, my most exciting players I'm excited for is Tyrone Tracy and Dante Miller, man. I think they're both going to be lights out for us. So we'll see what happens overall, man. Free agency will be covered in episode 3 of Hard Knocks, so make sure you stay tuned for the upcoming video recapping on episode 3, man. And also, we are a couple weeks away from training camp. You guys let me know down below, man, if y'all are pulling up to the training camp. I wish I could. Tickets were free, but I believe they're all booked out now. Training camp is obviously the first kickoff to actual football beginning, man. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it. And I got more preview videos coming out for y'all. But I can't wait to hear more stuff coming out of training camp. I'm excited. So if you want to hear anything from the New York Giants or anything that's moving forward, make sure you subscribe down below. We're going to be dropping more videos this upcoming summer. And obviously getting ready for the season, man. I can't wait for it. If you like this video, let me know down below. Like the video also. We're trying to push this content out there. And I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.